Hello and welcome to 9-inch Charge, a Warhammer Age of Sigmar and Warhammer the Old World discussion channel. Today on the channel we are going to get hyped for AoS3. There's been a Warhammer community article out that has teased 3 new rules for the 3rd edition. We have got heroic actions, monstrous rampages, and changes to the command point structure and the double turn. Just before we jump in, please drop this video a like if you enjoy it, and please consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. Heroic actions are a brand new type of ability used in each and every hero phase by both players. They are not command abilities, so are free to use every single turn. So let's have a look at them. A unit with the hero keyword on its war scroll is a hero. At the start of the hero phase, you can carry out one heroic action from the table below with one friendly hero. The effect of the heroic action is treated in the same way as the effect of an ability for rules purposes. The first heroic action is heroic leadership. Pick one friendly hero and roll a dice. Add 2 to the dice roll if your general has been slain. On a 4+, you receive 1 command point that can only be spent during that turn to allow that hero to issue a command. This is really nice for free, especially for those armies that struggle to gain command points. I think this one will be your go-to one if you do not want to use the others, because it's useful in all situations. Next up, we have Heroic Willpower. Pick one friendly hero that is not a wizard. If it is the enemy hero phase, that hero can attempt to unbind one spell in that phase as if they were a wizard. If it is your hero phase, that hero can attempt to dispel one endless spell in a phase as if they were a wizard. You can still only attempt to unbind or dispel the same endless spell once in the same phase. What's cool about this one is that, there's a lot of spells and magic is really powerful in the meta right now, but your wizards probably are not your strongest characters, so they're probably at the back lines, and people will, I know I'd certainly try and do it, try and keep my wizards in a range where they can cast a spell, but they're out of range of being dispelled. But if you push up with your heroes, as you undoubtedly will do, and then use this command ability, it gives you that ability to be able to dispel from further up the table. Really like it. The third, and my personal favourite, is their finest hour. Pick one friendly hero, add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by that hero until the end of the turn, and add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target that hero until the end of the turn. You cannot carry out this heroic action with the same hero more than once in the same battle. What I really love about this is that it will make the game more cinematic, and it will make your heroes feel like heroes. I mean, we all love those moments when our heroes do exactly what they say on the tin, or exceed that in a heroic action, and this is what it's all about. I mean, I can remember when my friend James's Nomad Prince stood up to Archeon and held him for 3 turns. Absolutely phenomenal, and this is going to help us see these kinds of actions on the table, the kind of things that we'll go away and tell our friends about. Oh, let me tell you about this turn. It's going to be great. Lastly, we have Heroic Recovery. Pick one friendly hero and make a heroic recovery roll by rolling 2d6. If the roll is less than the hero's bravery characteristic, you can heal up to d3 wounds allocated to that hero. If the roll is equal to that hero's bravery characteristic, you can heal 1 wound allocated to that hero. Again, pretty cinematic, helps your hero slog it out when they're in tough times. Really like this one again. I like all of them really. For free, it just is going to add so much flavour to the game, and that is what I really cannot wait for. Next up, we have Monstrous Rampages. At the end of the charge phase, each player can carry out 1 monstrous rampage from the table below with each friendly monster. The player whose turn is taking place carries out all of their monstrous rampages first. The same player cannot carry out the same monstrous rampage more than once per phase. The effect of the monstrous rampage is treated the same way as the effect of an ability for rules purposes. So although it's carried out in the charge phase, you do not have to have made a charge, and indeed you can make a monstrous rampage in your opponent's charge phase. The first monstrous rampage is Roar. Pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 3+, that unit cannot issue or receive commands in the following combat phase. This is huge for monsters. How many times have you slammed a monster into a battle line unit, something squishy, and you think, I'm going to wipe all of them out, and there's just 1 or 2 left standing, and then the command point comes along and gets issued, and they're immune to battle shock, and you have to slog it out for another round, or retreat. Well, not anymore. Now, if you wipe out most of the unit, the rest of them are going to flee on a 3+, because they're not going to be able to issue that command to the unit. This is going to make monsters superb in the new edition, and I cannot wait for it. Next we have Stomp. Stomp's come back. Pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model that is not a monster and roll a dice. On a 2+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Nice that it's on a 2+, pretty much guaranteed. Again, D3 mortal wounds, so 1 to 3, but you know, I'll take it. Next up, Titanic Duel. Pick one enemy monster within 3 inches of this model. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this model that target an enemy monster until the end of the following combat phase. Loads of fun, great way to give your monster that little bit of extra killing power. I do worry that this ability will be negated by your opponent just choosing Titanic Duel as well, and then you'll both get +1 to hit, and you won't actually get any sizable benefit from this, but we'll see. And lastly, we have Smash to Rubble. Pick one faction terrain feature or defensible terrain feature within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 3+, the terrain feature is demolished if it was defensible, and the scenery rules on its war scroll cannot be used for the rest of the battle if it was a faction terrain feature. Let's get this into a Bone Tithe Nexus. Let's get this into a Herdstone. It's going to be great on a Bad Moon Loon Shrine because that one has an ability where you can return a unit to the battlefield. You know, a unit of 40 or 20 more can pop up. Taking out that terrain feature's ability is going to cause a massive dent to your opponent's army. Again, love these. I mean, this really does feel like a rampage, a monster stomping on stuff and destroying terrain and going toe-to-toe with those other monsters. Now, this is before we've even started to explore the option of having a hero that is also a monster. This is going to be phenomenal. And if your hero is not a monster, get him a piggyback ride on a phoenix or a dragon or a griffin or anything like that. Lastly, we're going to have a look at command points. Now, they've made a couple changes to command points. One of them I really love. You now will be able to start the game, it seems, with command points, which is great because how many times have I been caught out by not having the first turn and, you know, having a unit wiped and not being able to make them immune to battle shock? It's been really frustrating in a lot of games, and I think it has for my opponents as well when I've done it to them, that there's nothing they can do. And that's something that I'm really pleased to see the design team trying to address, with these heroic actions happening in both phases, the Monstrous Rampages happening in both phases, and now command point usage is going to be happening and receiving in both phases. It just gives you the option to be able to do something in your opponent's turn, and I'm not against the double turn in any way, but I appreciate that it can be boring if you get double turned. So you earn 1 command point if your general is on the battlefield. And after determining who will take the first turn, the player who will take the first turn receives 1 command point, and the player who will take the second turn receives 2 command points. The second command point being the wooden spoon for getting double turned. But seriously, hopefully this will present challenges and make you think about whether or not you want to go first. And finally, who can use command points and the range in which they can be used has been updated. So to use a command ability, you must spend 1 command point. Pick 1 friendly model to issue the command, and pick 1 friendly unit to receive the command. Unless noted otherwise, the models that can issue commands and the units they can issue to them are as follows. Unit champions can issue commands to their own unit. Really like this, to be honest. Because it just makes unit champions feel like they are actually the champions and the leaders of the unit, and that they're issuing commands to their own unit and taking a bit of initiative is great. The only thing I'd like to see come back for them, to be honest, is the ability to be able to challenge and fight another unit champion or even a hero. Heroes can issue commands to units that are wholly within 12 of them. Generals can issue commands to units that are wholly within 18, and totems can issue commands to units that are wholly within 18 of them. This is just, as you can see, a big broadening of the range that command abilities can be used in, which I think is a great thing. Especially now Age of Sigmar is very wholly within. We don't want to get caught out by one model or what have you. So making it, you know, within 12 inches will kind of stop this kind of bubble hammer that is happening and let you spread your units out a little bit more. And with a smaller game table, you're really going to feel the effects of your general or a totem on the board. Alright, and I think that just about rounds us out. Please let me know in the comments which hero of yours is going to be the most heroic and which monster you're looking forward to going on a rampage with the most. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I've been 9inch Charge, and I'll catch you next time.